Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and in today's Reloading Chat, we'll have prime a little bit of brass here. I want to talk to you guys about the right-wing version of political correctness, because, I think most of us on the right, most conservatives, most right-wingers, most libertarians, whatever version of the right you happen to ascribe to, we generally understand that political correctness is a weapon used by the enemy to silence free speech, to silence debate, to silence political and social discussion. It's not politically correct, so therefore you can't talk about it. It's used to end debate. This is a form of thought policing. All right, this is the sort of stuff that George Orwell wrote about. Most of us understand this. But on the right, we have our own version of political correctness. And I've heard it termed, I think this is the best term for it, and that's patriotic correctness. And that is the effort to force everyone to be patriotic. Now, me personally, I choose to be a patriot. You know what? I love my country. And I say that very clearly in plain English. I love my country. I love what it stands for. I respect the flag and what our flag stands for, because that flag represents our republic. It represents our Constitution, and that Constitution represents some basic human freedoms that every free people on earth should have a right to. That we are lucky and we are blessed to have those freedoms here. All right, and those freedoms don't come freely. Those freedoms have been bought in blood. All right, and they may have to be again and again throughout the future. It's the way it is. I grew up in a very patriotic household, and I'm gonna tell you guys, as a child you don't understand it. Now, as a child, we said the Pledge of Allegiance. We took our hat off, we put it over, and we said a pledge of the flag every morning. Every morning at school when I was 5, 6, 7 years old, that's what we did. And it went, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. When you're a kid, those are just words. They're just words. As I became a man, I experienced life experiences. I saw the world, traveled the world. Those words started to have real meaning for me. I started to understand what liberty and justice actually meant. And I started to understand how lucky we are in our country. We are so lucky. And we take it for granted. But we are very, very lucky to have the freedoms that we have. Not everyone can say that. So I respect our flag. I respect my country. I love my country. I love what we have. And I don't ever want to see us lose that. But here's the thing. Being a patriot isn't always free. All right, and it's a choice we all make. Because sometimes being a patriot can cost people. It can cost people dearly. It can cost them their lives. It can cost them popularity. It can cost them a lot. All right? Or as I've seen memes on the internet, everyone wants to be a patriot till it comes time to do patriot shit. They've got Mel Gibson with his tomahawk and everything in the meme. There's some truth to that. Now, that being said, on the right, we try to pull this game. Oh yeah, well, if you don't go do this event, or you don't go there, then you don't support our troops. You hate the troops. You hate America. If you don't do this, if you don't say this, then you hate America. And that's where you don't support our troops. You don't support our boys. Or always, if you don't think this way, then you hate America. We police free thought and we shut down discussion with that. That's not a lot better than what political correct on the left does. It really isn't. And we need to step back and as people, particularly if we're going to take a more libertarian view, with liberty and justice for all. That doesn't mean just justice and liberty for people who hold our specific views. You know what? I believe that right-wing views and a conservative view of things is good, and I think it's a good way to think. I think it's a good way to run a country, but I think it's capable of standing up to debate. I think it's capable of standing up to scrutiny, and to shut down discussion. That's what the left does. You can't say this because it's not politically correct. We can't even entertain this idea. You can't even debate it They use it to silence dissent. Well, not everyone has to be a patriot. And I'm going to say that as someone who's a patriot, I choose to be a patriot. I choose to love my country. All right, I choose to have those beliefs. That's a choice. I live in a free country that gives me the right to say, you know what, I don't want to be a patriot if I choose not to be. We have a right to do that. Doesn't mean we should hate our country. I mean, it's kind of stupid to hate a country that gives you the freedom to dissent. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that people say, oh, I hate America, let me just burn this flag and stomp on it or whatever. But even, here's the thing we get to. When we're talking about burning the flag, you know, people's ideas, well, I'm going to stomp their ass if they burn the flag. I don't know about that. Now, I like how the FedEx guy handled it. He didn't go beat anybody. He went and took that flag and he put a fire extinguisher to it. Do you know why? Because he respects the flag. It's a man who fought for that flag. It's a man who might have bled for that flag. It's a man who probably lost friends on the field of battle fighting for that flag. Okay? And I understand where he's coming from. I respect that. I respect the fact that he wanted to save that flag. You know, hell, I think we should give him a medal, to be honest. But you know, he's doing okay. He's got a little clothing on and everything out of it. He's gotten some bona fides for it. So his good deed was rewarded. But the difference is, say, I'm going to assault someone for making a political speech. I got a problem with that. That's not American, you know, and that sort of idea. That's not free speech. And you know, the thing is, and I understand people say, but I love the flag, I respect the flag. You know what, I respect the flag too, and I sure as hell would never burn an American flag. If I did, it would be in the proper way. You know, when a flag gets damaged, it gets ruined, it gets, you know, irreparable, you know, you dispose of it with respect. There's a proper protocol for that. But it's also been determined that sometimes as a form of political speech, people burn the flag not because they hate America. Not always the point. That has been noted. A certain form of protest is that they feel that the flag has been burned, that freedom isn't being respected, that our republic isn't being respected, that whatever's happening, that there's some injustice, there's some atrocity. Whether you or I agree with that injustice or atrocity or not being real isn't the point. They feel that it is. And that's a form of political expression. And we can stand there and not like it when they burn that flag because we respect that flag. We can not like it. We can disagree with what they're expressing. But in America, what that flag represents, the freedoms that flag represents, the ideals that flag represents, say that they have a right to express their political opinion. And they have a right to political protest without fear of violence, without fear of arrest. All right, our country was founded on that idea. That is one of the most fundamental freedoms that we have in this country. And we can't just go crapping all over that freedom. And the same thing, people can express contempt for leadership. They can express contempt towards a war. Doesn't mean they hate our troops, it doesn't mean they hate our country, but they have to be allowed to express that. If someone disagrees with a war that we are involved in, a war effort for whatever reason, all right, they have the right to express that. And if we're going to be patriots and we're going to say that we love the ideas that this country is founded on, we have to respect those ideas and we have to live them. We have to live them. We have to let those people have those ideas. Now, if they're talking about overthrowing our government, they're talking about harming our troops, they're talking about rebellion or killing the president or something, okay, that's different. That's called treason. That's treason. That's not the same thing as dissent. All right, there's a difference. There's a difference between dissent and advocating open violence against our soldiers, against our military, against our police, against our leaders, our president, our politicians. Okay, that's different. But dissent, disagreement, that has to be allowed. And we can't stand back and use this, well, you hate America. You know what? Because if we're telling them they can't express an unpopular idea, or they can't disagree with us politically, we sure aren't supporting America. We're sure not supporting the freedoms that many, many men have died for. We're not supporting those freedoms, and we're sure as hell not supporting the Constitution if we say that. We're not respecting America. And that's my problem with the whole patriotic correctness, this idea that patriotism is to be forced. You can teach patriotism. You don't force patriotism. Patriotism, true patriotism, is something that adults come to on their own. All right, we can teach people to lean that direction, but that's a conscious choice that people have to make of their own free will to decide if they are a patriot or not, and decide how much respect they want to have for our republic and for our country. That's an individual choice. And you can't force that. You can't expect everyone to be a patriot, because not everyone is going to be. Not everyone's going to make that choice, and that's okay. That's their right. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.